Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. So our group kind of fell apart a little bit inside of Crushbone, simply because we actually got the trainer to spawn, and it was just too big of a fight for us. If you want to see exactly what happened, you can go back and watch the video for yesterday, but needless to say, it just didn't go very well. Hold on a second, let me grab this healer. But so we're back outside. It's an easier area. There's a lot less, I guess you could say there's a lot less chance of dying out here. There's a lot of more lower level people. That's fine. He can bring 2 orcs. I'll go ahead and take this one. There's a looting order to how we're doing the belts so that everybody is able to get one. He's going to go ahead and pull. So we got a good puller today. The last couple of groups were kind of iffy on our pullers. Sometimes they would pull quite a bit. Sometimes they wouldn't pull anything. So it's... there he is. Did pull some with him. Go ahead and toss him another invite in case he didn't get it the first time. Sometimes they do get bugs, so don't be afraid to toss it again. They'll let you know if they need a minute or something along those lines. I'm out of power. See, when you sit down, it's kind of a taunt. They don't like it, so if they do run towards you, just stand right back up and they may go back towards the fight. That's better than taking that one hit. I think he's talking to me. Oh no. Just do heal spell. It's a little bit more than a bubble. I would probably say about 25 to 30% power just to cast it once, but it does do quite a bit of healing as well, so... As you can see, I'm not getting yelled at by the channel of people in this zone saying, oh, just stop asking for people. If you do it too much, you will, but they all understand you're trying to fill out your group, you're trying to get that last slot filled up, the last 2 slots. So as long as you don't do it too much, you're fine. But people are constantly coming in and out of the zone, so if you don't do it every so often, you may miss people. People just may not be able to know that you have a spot open, and they just kind of go through it and maybe get a teleport someplace else. Especially if you see people asking for teleports, let them know by shouting again, or not shouting, by doing your OOC, that you got spots open and they may want to join. Now they may be going to a high level zone, and if you see that, then you're like, okay, just let it go. Obviously they're like level 40, level 50, maybe obviously can't group with you, but there's no harm in letting the zone know you got more space, as long as you don't do it too much. Still don't have enough power. And as you can see, I got plenty of water and plenty of food, so I'm not completely out of either one. Now you'll see when your guy sits down, he sits down Indian style, or cross-legged, however you want to say that. And when he stands up, he actually has to uncross his legs, and he does this little shimmy right there at the end where he kind of, you'll see it right there. He's still moving, so if you cast a spell, like at this point right here, and then he gets to here, there's a chance that it will become interrupted. So make sure that you're completely standing all the way before you cast your heal. I know sometimes, you know, you're in a rush because somebody's about to die and you want to get that little bit off of them, but you want to make sure that it doesn't become interrupted or you don't lose that power because it was interrupted, and therefore you can't cast it again and the guy ends up dying anyways. So wait that extra half a second if you can, and just make sure he's completely standing. Also, you can stand up by pushing forward on your keyboard, and your guy will stand, but he is also still moving because you push forward. And that's another bad way to stand and cast a spell, because you'll find that you're also become interrupted a lot more often that way than you would if you just hit the stand button. So make sure you don't do that. Also, if you want to stop a spell from going off after you've cast it, hit the D button. That will cause you to duck or crouch, however you want to say that, and your spell won't go off. It won't become like interrupted or anything like that. Like if you're trying to move around, sometimes you cast your spell and you move back and forth trying to interrupt your spell, it still goes off because you're just so good at that skill, you know. And sometimes it does. So ducking is the best way that I've found so far. Don't know why they're attacking a wasp. I don't think we'll get any experience for that with level 8s here. And it's green to me at level 5, so yeah, it's a complete waste on that one. Not that it's really doing that much damage. Somebody probably used like an area effect spell and it got it by mistake. We got 2 healers right now. This one's level 8. He's higher level than I am. He's not really wearing a whole heck of a lot. I'm guessing he hasn't done the Crushbone quest yet, because if you have, you'll get pretty close to a full set with just a backpack or 2 of the belts to turn. And pretty much everything I have on, and when I say pretty much, I mean everything other than my weapon, I got from that belt quest. So not too bad, not too great, but it's better than nothing, and it keeps me from walking around looking naked. So I think the only ones who don't mind being naked are the rangers, the wood elves that you see right there, the little suit that he's wearing right there on the right hand side, Bramel and Eric. They're both wearing their birthday suit basically. That's what they look like when they die, whereas some of us will look like the caster right here next to us, where he's wearing like a robe or some kind of weird outfit with a hood on it. The clerics are pretty much the same thing. They wear kind of like this white robe for the high elves, unless you're a woman character, a girl character, and then you'll find out that the least amount of clothing you could possibly put on a character without calling them nude is what they went ahead and went for. In this game, you could tell it was totally made by guys, because they made them as butt naked as they possibly could and still get away with it. Didn't do that quite as much with the guys, so I'm sure the women who played this game would have loved to have a big muscular guy butt naked and stuff like that, but they just didn't do it. Guys pretty much look a little plain, pretty standard, nothing special about the guys in this game, unless you play like a barbarian, and they're pretty big. But I mean, you look at the faces and stuff, and there's none of these guys look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. None of them look like Vin Diesel or Brad Pitt or any of the guys that women go crazy for. They're just standard, normal-looking dudes. Whereas all the women in this game are like Amazonian or petite, supermodel type figures and stuff with just the perfect assets in the right area to make guys go crazy. So it's pretty weird. 5 mage. Try to get that mage to come over here. Round out our group, make it all a full group. Like I said many times before, when you're leading the group, it's your responsibility to find new people to fill the slots. If somebody decides to leave, if 2 people or 3 people decide to leave at one time, that can be devastating for a group unless you have a full group. If 2 people decided to leave right now, it would be just a couple of us left, or 3 of us left, and that would just be pretty much the end of our group. Most times when 2 or 3 people leave, everybody else decides, it's a good time to take a break, or I'll go get something to eat and come back. And if you can keep it going, if you can, you know, stop that. Oh, great! This is gonna be nasty with all these. Heal myself a little bit. My Cleric isn't going to die as well, you know, because he tossed a heal on me, so I want to make sure that I return the favor if he needs it. Go ahead and sit down, med. Almost completely out of power. The heal more. Who's getting hit right now? He's getting hit. And toss him a heal real quick. He actually went out Link Dead earlier, I think, where he went AFK and left his guy here. And then we left to go inside Crushbone. I guess he got killed while we were gone. Got 10%. It's not too bad. It's nice how he's throwing the new guys in there with the belt rotation rather than making them wait all the way to the end, because that kind of sucks to join a new group and be on the end of the belt rotation, have to wait for 5 other people to loot one. Give you a belt right off the bat, you feel pretty good about the group, you're more likely to stay longer. So of course, you know, you have some people who join and then leave right away, and you give them a belt, they leave. It kind of sucks for everybody else too. So up our pooler before it gets too terribly bad for him. He doesn't want to pool. There we go. As a healer, you definitely want to keep everybody close to full life, but at the same token, if you're low on power, who do you heal first? Well, you heal the tank, whoever the main tank is. Whether he's the same person as the pooler or not, the tank is the one you got to heal. If anybody's almost dead, if they're about to die, if they have poison on them, anything like that, and you're not in a fight, well then yeah, you heal them so they don't die. But if you have to pick one to heal first before you heal the other ones, you heal the tank up full life. Everybody else may be at 60% and the tank is at full life. That's fine. You get him to full life. By the time you met up so that you've gotten enough power to do that, chances are everybody else's life will have slowly increased because your hit points do regenerate over time. So, sorry, I was reading down the text to make sure I'm not missing anything. Usually you're supposed to pay really close attention to that, but when I do these videos, I kind of get carried away sometimes and forget to watch what my group is saying. But especially with a bard, you know, your bard has the heal song on, it's going up, so you can kind of just let their own natural regeneration ability heal them if there's no big rush for it. But there is a rush for the tank, because, you know, you never know, the room may pop at any moment. You definitely want him to have a full life, because as you've seen many times before, if you heal too soon, you just get the aggro from all the creatures and all the ads come running and hitting you. So the longer you can wait to heal, the better off you are. So if he starts the fight with 100% health, then it starts off at a better position for you. You don't have to, you know, spend as much as quickly. Of course, my spell gets interrupted. Go ahead and away cast it. Now, not a lot of classes can use bind to other people, so if you're one of those few classes, you see somebody asking for a bind, and it's not too much trouble, you know, help them out, because it does really suck for them. I mean, everywhere they go, every time they go there, they have to get a bind close by. So if they go over and they're hunting in Seb one day, and then the next day they're hunting someplace else, and then they come back to Seb, they need to get another bind there. Because they're hunting there for a few hours, you know, for a few minutes, for whatever the length of time that they're going to be there, they need that bind. So it is kind of sucky for them, whereas those of us with it can just bind ourselves whenever we feel like we forget. This one is dim, so I forget just how hard it is for the rest of us, or for the rest of them, to get around. His name. I'm guessing he recognized mine from way back when. You know, you kind of hope that one day you'd run into some of these people that you used to know, but very rarely do you actually ever get that pleasure of running across these people. It's hard, you know, because you had so many servers and so many people had the same name and close to the same name, and then you come back and try to create the same way. It's very hard to find those people again. And a lot of them have moved on, and they don't play games as much, or they moved on to the newer and in their opinion, better games and things of that sort. So on those super rare occasions you're able to actually meet up with somebody that you used to group with, you know, cherish that, because that's a rare treat indeed. Where's my guy? Where's he at? So I'll just keep spamming it until he gets close. Die. Betting he's pulling for over by Kazakh Crushbone. That's like the 5th time I've said that by mistake. Kazakh. I definitely want to go there for some reason. Very cool zone, if I remember right. I remember swimming down through this giant ball, the red ball, to get down to like it was like the King's Room or something along those lines. There was a name down there, and everybody had to swim down there together. The tank went down like a half a second before everybody else, so that he would get the aggro. And everybody else had to closely follow and get into a corner and stay there. And really cool zone with some really good loot there, from what I remember. So definitely check that place out as soon as I can. remember right, it was like something like 35 to level 40 or whatever. Of course, I went ahead and got aggro a little bit. Even with 2 of us healing him. Guys, I'm gonna go to bed, super tired, and I'm working 7 hours, so he's heading out. That sucks. He was the guy keeping track of the loot, and he's been a really good guy to group with. So. Over here we can get to group with us. Yeah, there's a lot of people over here right now, kind of just picking off our leftovers before we can get to them. You know, they're not strong enough to do a camp, you know, 4 or 5 creatures at one time, so they wait until we grab 2 or 3 of them, and then, or wait for the respawn and grab one before the other one spawns. I don't mind it so much. I mean, if the small pickings is all they can get, then that's all they can get, but if they constantly do more and more, and they're stealing more and more creatures away from a group, you know that's going to cause issues, because without that group there, you can't pull those. And if you keep pulling those, there won't be a group there very much longer. Let's see, what's he pulling? 2 of them. And I'll click on his pet. Great, his pet's about to die. His pet has very, very little life, actually. So just the small hill is enough. The PST is please send tell. A lot of the times you will say, you know, looking for more, PST, please send tell if interested. It's just letting them know, man, 2 fizzles in a row. It's just letting them know that if they really, really want to join you, don't just shout it out at the channel because we may not be paying attention. Just send that person a tell and say, hey, yeah, I really, really want to join. Or don't just show up, because sometimes showing up is never really that bad, but if you didn't say something, he may have already given that spot away. Instead of, you know, saving it for you because you replied first. So, you know, if you really, really want in that group, call that spot as soon as possible by sending him a tell. That also comes into play when picking out your name. Try to pick a name that people can see very, very easily. Like if you have a lot of I's in your name, the I's and the L's kind of like blend into each other. You don't know how many I's are there, how many L's are there. It's very hard to see that on such small print on the text. So you end up like trying to spell his name out 2, 3, 4 times. And if you can't get it because it's so complicated, because everything looks so close together, a lot of the time people won't even bother. They'll just be like, oh, forget it. Don't call them. And so you're really taking groups away from yourself by kind of making it a little bit too difficult for people to tell what your name is. You don't actually have to be able to pronounce the name. You know, you can just do gibberish, or you can do whatever you want, whatever language you want to do it in. But as far as just being able to see the difference between, oh wow, the sound just completely changed there. just be able to see the difference between the letters. It's all you need to do. So if you want to have a lot of I's in there, just break them up with something else that people can look at and to be able to see that that's an I and that's an L, and there's only one I and only one L, or there's two L's, because there's been several cases where they've had like 5 L's in a row, and I mean, how many L's are there when you're looking at it? It looks like 4, it looks like 5, there might be 6 L's, but if you throw some I's in between, you're just making it a nightmare. So some guy was saying he's colorblind. Actually seem to like this sound a lot more than the one that they were playing a minute ago. Although I think my favorite out of all of them is the rain. I love rain in real life. I love rain on, you know, simulated rain. I love rain recorded on camera. Just the sound of rain is very relaxing to me. And the smell that comes with rain is amazing. It's like clean, fresh air being filtered. So always a fan of rain. I think I've seen snow like twice in my entire life, and it wouldn't really be snow, what you guys would call snow for most of you. Living here in Houston, snow, when it does actually fall, will usually melt the moment it touches the pavement. The moment it touches the concrete, it melts. So we don't have like inches of snow. We have snow falling for about half an hour, 2 hours at max, very, very, very lightly, and none ever actually builds up on the ground. That's the extent of the 2 times I've seen snow in my life. So I love watching it on TV and stuff, but as far as in real life, no idea if I'd actually enjoy it, if it's too cold, too wet, or whatever. So I just stick with rain for the most part. Let's see, is he pulling anything else? I don't know whose turn it was. Oh, it's all cleared. Well, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the video here. Again, if you like these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below, or as always, you're welcome to hit me up in game. Thanks again for watching.